It's better to go out as soon as possible. The sooner she goes out, the better. Thinking of this, Elaine nodded angrily, and said, I want to go out now. The guard nodded, helped Elaine walk out of the bathroom, and then led her out of the cell. The moment she left the cell, Elaine turned back and said to the old Mrs. Wilson, Dead lady, wait for me. Sooner or later, I will break both of your legs. Old Mrs. Wilson said coldly, You B*TCH, you won't die sooner or later. Elaine ignored the Lady Wilson and looked at Jenna again, and said sharply, Jenna, you dog and woman, wait for me. Your mother's grave will definitely not be kept. Jenna yelled angrily, Dare you, I must kill you. Elaine limped out with the support of the prison guards, turning around and cursing, Look at me, dare you, wait. When you come out, take a look at your mother's grave and see you. Has Mom's ashes been raised by me? After speaking, without looking back, she followed the prison guard out of the cell in the detention center. Elaine came to the office area of the detention center, and the prison guards led her into an office. There were already 2 police officers sitting in this office, the 2 who were in charge of her case. When the 2 police officers saw her being supported by the prison guards, they jumped in, and they were suddenly dumbfounded. The guard said to the 2 of them, She had a conflict with a cellmate in the same cell just now in the bathroom, and her leg is hurt. Elaine said angrily, Is it hurt? My leg is broken, okay, haven't you seen it? The prison guard asked in a cold voice, What I told you just now, you are all deaf to your ears, right? Do you want to call everyone out now, and then transfer you to the Public Security Bureau for a good trial? I'll tell you, don't judge you. For 3 to 5 days, don't even think of it. One of the police officers said, Elaine, you can go home now and it's very good. As for the injury on your leg, you can wait until you go out and go to the hospital for treatment. You can keep it for 3 to 5 months. Elaine nodded angrily and asked, Comrade police officer, when can I be released? The police officer said, Did you remember everything we told you before? Elaine hurriedly said, Don't worry, I remember it clearly, and I won't say a word to anyone after I go out and kill me. When Elaine was let out in the afternoon, she was beaten and threatened by the 3 fierce women. She was so frightened that she was deeply aware of the huge danger behind this incident. So now she can't hide, how can she dare to mention it again? The police officer was satisfied, and returned Elaine's cell phone to her and said, Okay, you will call your son-in-law now and let him pick you up. After Elaine picked up her mobile phone, she couldn't wait to turn it on. Since calling in, she has never been able to touch her phone again, nor can she contact her husband and daughter. Suddenly taking back the phone, Elaine suddenly felt a strong grievance. Husband and daughter certainly didn't know that she had suffered so much inhuman torture in the past 2 days. But this kind of thing, she just can't tell them. Because once she uttered a word, she might be murdered, or she might be caught by the police again and put in jail. After the phone was turned on, Elaine could receive countless messages on WeChat. She clicked on it and found that basically every message came from her daughter Claire. Seeing that her daughter was always worried about herself and kept sending her various messages, Elaine felt very comforted. But she couldn't help but think of another thing. Why didn't husband send a WeChat? She has been missing for 2 days, is he not worried at all? Thinking of this, Elaine was quite dissatisfied, and she couldn't help but wonder, I didn't expect Jacob, an old thing, to be so affectionate, that I had been missing for so long. He didn't even have a WeChat. Be sure to settle accounts with him afterwards. At this time, the police officer said, Don't play WeChat there anymore. Call your son-in-law quickly. Elaine hurriedly asked, Comrade Constable, can I stop my son-in-law from picking me up? I am so annoyed to die when I think of this man. I hate him to my teeth. Can I let my daughter pick me up? The police officer slapped the table and shouted coldly, The reason why we let you find your son-in-law to pick you up is because we want to confirm whether the criminals are looking at your son-in-law now. Otherwise, if we rashly put you back, you are very likely to be targeted by others, maybe you will be killed tonight. In that case, don't blame me for not reminding you. As soon as Elaine heard this, her liver trembled with fright, and she hurriedly said, That's fine, I'll call my son-in-law now, "Comrade Police, please make sure to see if the criminals are looking at him." The police officer nodded and said coldly, "Don't worry, as long as you do as we say, we will naturally investigate." Elaine breathed a sigh of relief and said, "Then I'll call him now." The police officer asked her again, "Do you know how to tell him?" "No." Elaine forced the pain in her leg and said honestly, "I tell him that I was cheated by a MLM organization, and then I was caught by the police. Now I am relieved of my grievances and can finally go home." The policeman hummed, waved his hand and said, "Okay, let's call now." At this moment, Charlie was waiting for Elaine's call at home. Suddenly the phone on the table rang. He hurriedly picked up the phone and realized that it was indeed his mother-in-law who was calling, so he pressed the answer button. "Mom? Where are you? We are going crazy looking for you these past 2 days." Charlie started acting as soon as he spoke. Elaine hated him crazy in her heart, but she couldn't say it directly, so she could only say in a cold voice, "I'm in the city detention center right now, please drive to pick me up." Charlie said, "Mom, the car at home has been driven away, I'll take a taxi to pick you up." Elaine asked angrily, "Are both cars driven away?" Charlie gave a hum and said, "Claire has gone to the company, and Dad has gone to the party."